I raised my stepdaughter like she was my own. Bought her a car, paid for college, walked her down the aisle. Then I got served. She was suing me for back support because her biological dad was out of the picture. I called her, heartbroken. She said, "You wanted to be my dad so bad. Now pay up." That was 3 months ago. But yesterday, her attorney slipped and said something that could. I'm 51 years old. I live in Missoula, Montana. I've never written anything like this before. But what happened to me? I need to say it out loud. I need to get it off my chest before I lose my mind. Maybe someone out there has been through something like this. I raised my stepdaughter like she was mine. Not kind of. Not halfway. She was my kid in every real way that mattered. Her name is Madison. But I always called her Maddie. I met her mom, Claire, when Maddie was 6. Claire was divorced, raising Maddie on her own. Her ex, Maddie's dad, just bailed one day. No warning. Moved out of state, never looked back. No birthday cards. No child support. Not even a damn phone call. Maddie didn't even remember what he looked like after a few years. I met Claire at a friend's barbecue. She was tired, stressed, and honest. Maddie was with her. I remember she was wearing these little purple Crocs and dragging around a stuffed giraffe like it was a security blanket. We started dating after that. It got serious quick. I never tried to replace her dad. But Maddie just attached to me. I fixed her bike, read her bedtime stories, went to her school events. She started calling me dad on her own. I didn't even know until one of her teachers asked if I was her father. She'd told them I was. I cried in my truck that night. When I married Claire, Maddie was 8. She gave a speech at the little reception we had in the park. Said she was happy her new dad was funny and knew how to make pancakes. I still have the photo of her with frosting on her nose. I never legally adopted her. Claire said we didn't need to. She didn't want the legal mess. Her ex was still technically listed on the birth certificate. We figured it wasn't worth the risk of alerting him. Looking back, maybe that was my first mistake. I raised her like she was mine. Every school meeting. Every dentist appointment. Every stomach bug. Every heartbreak. I was there. When she turned 16, I surprised her with a used car. 2006 Civic. Not fancy, but clean. She cried. Jumped into my arms. Told me she'd pay me back when she got a job. She never did, but I never expected her to. When she got accepted to the University of Washington, she cried again. Said she didn't want to leave. I told her I was proud. I paid for every semester. Every book. Every phone bill. I wasn't rich. I worked construction. Long hours. Cold mornings. Sometimes my hands bled. But she was worth it. She graduated with honors. Gave a speech. Thanked my dad who never gave up on me. I swear I could have died happy right there. A year later, she met a guy in Portland. I paid for the wedding. Walked her down the aisle. She told me, "It had to be you. You're my real dad." That was the last normal day I had. 3 months ago, I got served at work. Some guy in a blazer shows up at the site and hands me a thick manila envelope. I opened it on the hood of my truck, fingers already dirty with oil. It was a lawsuit. Madison, my Madison, was suing me for back child support. The papers said I had assumed the role of parent and provided financial and emotional support. And because her biological dad was gone, I was now responsible for unpaid child support dating back to when she was 6. $96,442.37. My knees actually gave out. I had to sit in the truck and close the door. I thought it had to be a joke. A scam. Someone trying to steal my identity. So I called her. she answered. I was shaking. Madison, what the hell is this? Her voice was calm. Cold. You wanted to be my dad so bad, she said. Now pay up. She hung up. Just like that. No explanation. No apology. No emotion. I sat there for almost 20 minutes. Didn't cry. Didn't yell. Just stared out the window, stunned. I tried calling Claire. No answer. Tried again that night. Sent a message. Nothing. I wasn't blocked. She just wasn't picking up. My lawyer, Steve, friend of a friend, read the case and just shook his head. This is rare, he said, but not unheard of. They're claiming you're a de facto parent. And since there's no legal custody transfer, they're using the fact that you paid and acted like her father as grounds. I said, can't I just show all the money I already gave her? College? The car? Rent? He sighed. Those were gifts. You can't ask for them back. So I was just screwed. Letters came. Emails. More papers. Her lawyer said if I didn't settle, they'd garnish my wages and put a lien on my house. I thought maybe Claire put her up to it. But Maddie? She was smarter than that. She always thought for herself. That's what made it hurt more. Then, yesterday, something happened. I was in my lawyer's office. We were reviewing the latest set of filings. The phone rang. It was on speaker. He answered. Steve Brunner speaking. The voice on the other end was unfamiliar at first, but then it clicked, Maddie's attorney. He sounded flustered. I was just checking, once the judgment goes through, we'll move to freeze the accounts. Claire said he still keeps everything in the same credit union. The dummy doesn't even know she forged the affidavit. He stopped. Realized he was on speaker. Wait, Steve? Steve hit record before the call dropped. Claire. Claire forged the affidavit. Suddenly it made sense. The exact details in the court documents. The specific bank info. The tone. This wasn't just Madison. Claire had orchestrated this. My ex-wife. The woman I shared a life with for almost 20 years. And now she was trying to drain me dry through the daughter I raised like my own. The worst part? The signature on the affidavit, the one saying I'd agreed to accept financial liability for the minor child, it wasn't mine. But it was close. Close enough to fool someone. Steve's face turned serious. This changes everything, he said. He's filing for fraud. Perjury. Civil penalties. He's subpoenaing phone records, emails, everything. We're going to court. And this time I'm not rolling over. They tried to break me. Take everything I built. But I'm still here. They thought I was weak because I loved that girl. They forgot something. I made her future. I paid for her success. And now? I'm going to burn their little scheme to the ground. It's been a week since that call. Steve filed the fraud complaint the next day. He sent over a list of demands, bank records, emails, the original affidavit, anything signed or submitted by Claire or Madison. The court gave us 10 days to review and prepare for a hearing. 10 days. I haven't slept more than 3 hours a night since. I keep replaying everything in my head. Every time I picked Maddie up from school. Every birthday gift. Every damn hug that felt real. I think about how she looked at me when I gave her that car. When I walked her down the aisle. It was all real to me. But now I'm not so sure what it was to her. The next twist hit 3 days ago. Steve called me at work, told me to come to his office, said it was urgent. When I got there, he had a folder on his desk. Inside were printed emails obtained through a subpoena. They were between Claire and Madison, dated 6 months ago, before the lawsuit even started. One email stood out. Claire wrote, "He still has the retirement fund. If we get the judgment, we can take that and I'll split it with you. You deserve it, after all he put you through acting like he was some kind of saint. He never adopted you, so legally, we have room to work. Just remember, keep your story straight." It hit me so hard my vision blurred. Madison was in on it. This wasn't just Claire pulling strings. My daughter, the girl I raised like my own, was planning this with her. They were trying to clean me out. Claire knew I'd been careful with my money. I never made much, but I saved. My retirement fund was all I had left. About $170,000 in there. Enough for a quiet life. Maybe a trailer by Flathead Lake someday. They wanted to take that. And Madison, she thought she deserved it. Steve handed me a second email. It was short. From Madison to Claire. He'll never see it coming. He still thinks I love him. I had to leave the room. I stood in the hallway, leaned against the wall, and let everything crash down. All those years. All that love. All the sacrifices. She never loved me. Or if she did, it stopped the moment Claire whispered in her ear and said she could turn me into an ATM. I went home that night and dug through old boxes in the garage. Looking for anything, old birthday cards, drawings, anything real. I found one. From when she was 10. Crayon drawing. Me and her. She wrote my real dad. I kept it in my pocket for years. I don't even know if she meant it now. Yesterday, Steve got more news. A second twist. Claire had tried to submit a new document. She claimed I had written her an agreement in 2012 saying I would support Madison no matter what. It was typed up. Signed. Steve spotted the problem immediately. The letterhead. It had my current address on it, a place I didn't move into until 2017. She forged it. Again. But this time, the judge saw it too. Claire's lawyer, some greasy guy named Bannon, tried to talk around it. Said it was a mistake, an administrative mix-up. The judge ordered an immediate forensic review of all their submitted documents. Now Claire is being investigated. And Bannon? He might be on the hook too. I should have felt relieved. But I didn't. Because something else came out during that hearing. Bannon tried to say I had a long history of trying to alienate Madison from her biological father. That I used gifts to manipulate her into turning away from him. That hit me hard. That man, the one who ran away, left her and Claire behind. He was suddenly a weapon in their case. But it backfired. Because Steve stood up, held out a certified letter from 2009. It was from Madison's biological dad. He said, in writing, that he wanted nothing to do with the child. That he was willing to terminate all rights. Claire had hidden that from me. She never filed it. She never told Madison. She kept it to use as leverage. The judge read it and leaned back in her chair. Her face changed. "I need to review this closely," she said. "Now, we're heading into something bigger. There's talk of criminal charges. Perjury. Fraud. Possibly conspiracy to commit civil theft. Claire's house of cards is starting to collapse. But there's one thing still haunting me. Madison hasn't said a word. Not since she told me to pay up. She hasn't reached out. No apology. No explanation. Just silence. And the next hearing is in 4 days. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know this, they thought they could steal from me. Use the law. Use emotions. Use my love against me. They didn't count on me fighting back. They didn't count on me finding the truth. They sure as hell didn't count on Steve recording that call. They woke something up in me. And now? I'm just getting started. 4 days passed. Court day came. I showed up in my one good suit. The same one I wore to Maddie's college graduation. The irony wasn't lost on me. Steve met me at the courthouse steps. He was calm, collected. I was a mess inside but tried not to show it. He said, "We've got more than enough to flip this." I nodded. Didn't say much. My mouth was dry. My stomach was turning. Claire was already inside. Sitting straight, like nothing was wrong. She wore this smug look like she'd already won. Madison wasn't with her. She sat with her own lawyer across the aisle. Not a glance in my direction. Like I was a stranger. When the hearing started, the judge didn't waste time. She brought up the forged affidavit, the fake agreement, and that 2009 letter from the biological father disowning all rights. Claire's lawyer tried to object, said the letter was outdated and irrelevant. The judge shut that down quick. "It proves intent to mislead the court," she said. Then came the moment that changed everything. Steve asked the court to subpoena the full digital message history between Claire and Madison, from emails to texts. Claire's lawyer objected. Judge overruled. Gave them 72 hours to comply. That afternoon, Steve got an anonymous message on his office voicemail. No name. Just a voice. It was Madison. She said, "I need to come clean." I was standing right there. Steve put the call on speaker. My knees nearly gave out again. She kept talking. She told me we'd split at 50-50. That you'd roll over like always. That it was owed to me. She said you'd never fight back. I didn't know what to feel. Relief? Anger? Shame? I went along with it, she said. I lied. I knew it was wrong, but I was broke, and Mom made it sound like you'd be fine. Like it was no big deal. I didn't know about the retirement money until later. That's when it got ugly. She wanted everything. Steve asked her directly, "Are you willing to testify?" She said yes. It didn't feel good. It felt like betrayal wrapped in guilt. Like she only spoke up because the weight of it was finally crushing her. But there was more. She said something that turned my blood cold. She used to say you owed her everything. That you wasted her best years. That she should have married someone richer. She said if she couldn't get it through divorce, she'd get it through me. Through me. Using Maddie like a pawn. It all made sense now. Claire never forgave me for keeping the house in my name. Or for refusing to dip into my 401k when she wanted to start a wellness business years ago. This was revenge. Calculated, cold, and slow. But there was one more twist. Steve got the subpoenaed data from Madison's cloud backup. Texts. Emails. Call logs. He found proof Claire had reached out to Madison's biological dad last year. The man who walked away? He wasn't dead. He wasn't unreachable. Claire found him. Contacted him through a friend on Facebook. And get this, he signed over his rights again. But this time, Claire shredded the paperwork. Told Madison he refused. She lied to her own daughter just to keep the scam going. But we had the email chain. The judge saw everything. Still, she didn't throw out the case right then and there. She scheduled a full hearing. Said the fraud charges would be handled separately in a criminal court. Said the civil suit could still move forward on limited grounds. Claire's lawyer looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. Madison looked like she wanted to disappear. And me? I sat there thinking about every time I carried Maddie when she was sick. Every time I fixed something for her. Every holiday I spent working overtime so she'd have a better Christmas. Now I'm staring down the barrel of a civil case that should have never existed and watching two people I loved try to ruin me. But I'm still here. And I'm not backing down. This story's not over. Not yet. The final hearing was set for 10 a.m. on a Thursday. 2 months had passed since the first lawsuit. 2 months of digging, subpoenas, phone calls, sleepless nights, and long talks with my lawyer. 2 months of watching the people I once called family twist themselves into knots trying to rob me blind. But now? The walls were closing in on them. And I was ready. When we walked into that courtroom, I didn't feel scared anymore. I didn't feel like the guy who got ambushed at a job site with legal papers. I felt clear. I brought every document. Every receipt. Every college payment. Car invoice. Grocery Venmo. Rent transfer. Even the damn Girl Scout cookie orders. Everything I ever gave her. Everything I ever paid. And more important, Steve brought something that no one saw coming. An expert witness. A handwriting analyst from Helena. Claire's team claimed I'd signed that support agreement in 2012, remember? The one with the wrong address? Steve had the analyst compare the signature on that form with my driver's license, bank forms, and 36 real documents we'd pulled from old tax filings. Her conclusion? The signature was forged. And then she said something even more important. The person who signed this forged document also signed the witness line on Madison's college lease agreement in 2018. That witness was Claire. Boom. Claire forged the agreement herself, using her own handwriting without even realizing she'd copied her own style. The courtroom went quiet. The judge leaned forward and asked, "Are you saying Claire signed on behalf of both parties?" "Yes, Your Honor." That was the nail in the coffin. But it didn't stop there. Madison testified. She walked in, eyes sunken, hair tied back. She looked like she hadn't slept either. She told the whole truth. That Claire had talked her into the lawsuit. That she was promised half the money. That she knew I didn't legally owe anything, but Claire told her emotion beats law, and if she cried in court, she'd win. That Claire said I was emotionally abusive for not giving her everything she ever asked for. That Claire coached her to lie. The judge let her speak. Then asked her one question. "Why are you telling the truth now?" Madison started crying. "Because I'm not proud of who I've become. And he's the only real parent I ever had." I didn't cry. I didn't move. I just stared straight ahead. After the testimony, the judge didn't even take the rest of the day. She ruled within the hour. The civil lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice. Meaning they couldn't file it again. Ever. But that wasn't all. The judge referred Claire for criminal charges, fraud, perjury, and attempted civil theft. And she wasn't done. She issued a financial penalty. Claire was ordered to pay my legal fees. $43,000. And that wasn't all either. See, while we were digging through Claire's emails and text messages, Steve found something else. Something she didn't think we'd catch. She'd been secretly withdrawing money from a joint account we opened when we were married. An account that was supposed to be closed during the divorce. She'd pulled nearly $27,000 over the last year. Steve filed a civil claim immediately after the hearing. That hearing lasted 15 minutes. Claire didn't even show up. We won that too. Now she owes me over $70,000 total, not including interest. And that retirement account? Safe. Still mine. As for Madison, I didn't speak to her for a while after court. She sent a letter. Said she was sorry. Said she didn't know how much Claire had poisoned her. Said she wanted to make it right. I didn't reply. But a month later, she showed up at my house. No makeup. No fancy clothes. Just a girl who looked lost. She said, "I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand what you did for me." I didn't hug her. I didn't invite her in. I said, "I hope you do better than your mother. But you don't get to come back here." She nodded. Tears in her eyes. Then she walked back to her car and drove off. That was 6 weeks ago. I haven't seen her since. Claire? She pled guilty to reduced charges. Got slapped with a fine and 2 years probation. Her little wellness business folded. Word got out. No one wants to hire a fraud. She sent me a letter too. Said I ruined her life. I shredded it. As for me? I kept the house. Kept the truck. Kept my peace. I didn't want revenge. Not really. I just wanted to survive. But they came for me with knives in their smiles. And they got cut by their own blades. They thought love was weakness. But love was why I fought back. And now? I sleep fine. Because sometimes, the best revenge is surviving the fire, and walking out holding the match.